Hello and welcome back to Chef Fundamentals and Recipe Writing. In the last section of this video series, we tried to understand how exactly we get a Chef ecosystem, how to install a Chef server, how to configure a Chef workstation, and how to bootstrap nodes which we are supposed to manage for our infrastructure. In the current section, we are going to take further and we are going to understand how exactly use the Chef ecosystem in order to manage our infrastructure with the help of configuration management tool. So let's take a look what exactly we are going to cover in this section. So first of all, we are going to take a look at what are the building blocks of Chef recipe writing. What is a cookbook? What is recipe? What is a resource? All these things. And then we will write a couple of recipes for ourselves and we will see how exactly we manage our nodes with the help of Chef workstation. After that, we will take a look at what exactly happens behind the scenes when you run Chef client. Now, Chef client we have not seen yet, but when you want to converge the Chef nodes and you want to bring them to a desired state configuration, Chef client is the command which you run at the backend. After that, we will see how exactly we can work with the run list. We will see what exactly is the way to manage your run lists with the help of command line and with the help of Chef GUI. After that, we are going to take a look at roles and environments and how we can leverage them when we are managing and designing our infrastructure hierarchy to manage multiple nodes, thousands and thousands of nodes. Then we will take a look at how exactly cookbook versioning takes place and how exactly we can map specific versions of a cookbook to specific environments. For example, let's say cookbook version 1.1 to a prod environment and version 1.2 to dev environment. And finally, we will see Chef Supermarket, what exactly it is, how does it work, and how we can utilize that. So in this first video of this section, we are going to see about the building blocks of Chef recipe writing. And in the process, we will first try and understand the relationship between recipe, cookbooks, and resources. So first of all, let's try and understand the relationship between recipes, cookbooks, and resources. So for that, we have to take a step back and we first need to understand the relationship of packages, code files, and functions in a traditional programming world. And when I say traditional programming, I'm typically referring to Java or maybe .NET or Python or Ruby or any other modern day object-oriented programming languages. So as you're aware, packages are a collection of files and folders and DLLs and libraries and definitions. All these things comprise of a package in traditional sense. And apart from all those other things which I just mentioned, you have the individual code files. Now, code files are the building blocks of any programming language. That is where you actually write your piece of code. For example, for Java, you will have .java files. For Python, you will have .py files. For Ruby, you will have .rb files in which you're going to write your code. And finally, we will have functions for all these programming languages. Functions are nothing but the building blocks of a programming language, and they are small pieces of code for a specific task, and they define how exactly your program is going to behave, whether you're going to get any output or not, and you can work with multiple functions. Basically, multiple functions comprise and become code files, and then individual code files become packages. So you can call one function from another function. You can actually define things into different functions so that they work in tandem with each other. So now if we take the same analogy and we take it to our Chef world, so packages, we call them as cookbooks in Chef. Now cookbooks are a collection. It's more like a container where you keep your recipes, your libraries, your templates, your functions, and everything which has to do with Chef infrastructure management. You keep all those files and folders inside the cookbooks. So it's a collection of a lot of things which create a single package, which is known as cookbooks. Within cookbooks, of course, you have multiple recipes, and each recipe will have a specific function or a specific task to do. In Chef, you have recipes will have a .rb extensions. It will always end with a .rb extension, which means that it is a Ruby code, and this will help identify Chef to work with the recipes. And finally, the functions in Chef are known as resources. And just like what functions does in a traditional programming world, resources will have a specific task to do. For example, if you have a user resource, it will actually manipulate your users. If you have a services resource, it will manipulate your service. You can start or stop a service with the help of a service resource. You want to install and uninstall a package, you will use a package resource. So every resource will have a specific task to do, and based on that, you will utilize them. And multiple resources as a collection will become recipes, and multiple recipes along with a lot of other interdependent files will create cookbooks. Now what we will do, we will take this analogy one step ahead and we will try and understand the same thing in Puppet as well. Now packages or cookbooks, what we call them in Chef, are known as modules in Puppet. Code files which are there in traditional programming world, and what are known as recipes in Chef, the same thing, you call them as manifests in Puppet, having a .pp extension, and .pp stands for Puppet program. Resources, luckily for us, have the same name, and in Puppet also they are known as resources, which are nothing but the functions, and they have a specific task to do. And just like Chef, you have multiple resources already available which are at your disposal, and you can utilize them as per your requirement. This is a screenshot taken from an actual cookbook named Apache on my workstation, and as you can see here, it is a collection of a lot of things. If you see, you have a couple of files. We have definitions, we have a changelog.md file, we have an attributes folder which contains default.rb, we have a recipes folder which also contains default.rb. So they have the same name but their functionalities are different. We will take a look at that in one of our future lessons. And we have something called metadata.rb, which, as the name suggests, it contains all the information about this particular cookbook. And by default, every cookbook, whether you create it locally or whether you download it from a Chef supermarket, will have this metadata.rb file which will contain all the necessary information about this cookbook. There are specific things which you can perform or which you can control through metadata.rb, which we will see in one of our future lessons. And then we have resources and templates. Again, each folder has a specific task, and in due course of time we will take a look at each and every one of those aspects. So when we talk about recipes and resources, we have a specific way of writing. The syntax, how we work with in Chef, is we first define a resource, then we name the resource, and then we have something, all the actions and parameters and everything in between a do and end block. So on screen, if you see, we have a package resource. The type of the resource is package. The name is HTTPD, and in between the do and end block, we have something called installation of the package to be done. What I have done is action _install, and then I close my do end block with the help of the end keyword. So let's take a look at one of the other resources named cookbook_file, which is also very important and which actually helps you distribute your individual files onto multiple nodes. And how it works is that you define in the name section, you actually provide the path of the destination location on the nodes. And then we have multiple parameters which are taken by cookbook_file resource. Two of them are actually source and mode. Source defines where is the source file located, what is the name of the source file, and that content will be copied onto the destination as specified in this resource. Mode, as you can understand, will define what will be the mode of the file when it is created on the nodes, what kind of permissions it will contain. And once again, we will close our do end block with the help of end keyword. So let's take a look at this in action. Let's try this recipe creation in our Chef workstation. So here I am on my nodes, and this is my workstation. I'm already inside my Chef repository. I can check with the help of knife node list command what are the nodes available already on my infrastructure. And as you can see, I have node 1 and node 2 present in my Chef infrastructure. They are already bootstrapped to my Chef server. Same thing I can verify through my graphical user interface. If you see, the same output is here as well. I have two names with the name node 1 and node 2, and one of them is Ubuntu, one of them is CentOS, and you have a couple of more information like what platform it is, what FQDN, IP address, uptime, and all the other things. And if I come to the policy tab, and inside cookbooks, as of now, I don't have any cookbooks available on my Chef server because I have not created any one of them yet. So I come back to my workstation and I create a cookbook with the help of chef generate command. So this is the command which I need to use in order to create a cookbook. So chef generate cookbook, cookbooks/myinfra. I need to give this location as cookbooks/ because I want to create all my cookbooks inside this folder. Alright, so there is a small typo, and what I need to do is I need to actually use the same name as for all my future demos. So myinfra is the cookbook which has been created. Now what we will do is we will try to install a small package, and let's take a look on a node 1 and node 2. We'll make sure that tree package is not installed in any one of them. As you can see from the output for tree, it tells that the command not found. I can cross verify that with the help of sudo yum info tree command. It tells me that it is an available package, so that means it has not been installed yet on the node. So let's try and write a recipe to install tree package on my nodes. So I go inside my infra cookbook and I go inside recipes folder, and by default every cookbook will have this default.rb recipe created automatically. As of now everything is commented out, so technically there is nothing inside this recipe. We'll make some changes here. So we'll edit this file and put our content here. So since I want to install a package, I will use the package resource. The name I will give is the name of the package, which is tree, and start a do end block. Within the do end block, I just need to mention action space colon install. And notice that after action, I have a space and then colon and then install. This is the syntax you need to follow when you're writing chef recipes and when you're working with the package resource. So I save this and I come out of it. Now I have to upload this cookbook on my chef server. So I'll use knife cookbook upload and the name of the cookbook. It will take a couple of seconds to upload it on my chef server. And as you can see, it gives me a confirmation on my console output. It tells me that it has been uploaded and the cookbook version which has been uploaded is 0.1.0. I can cross-verify whether this cookbook has been uploaded or not on my chef server with the help of knife cookbook list command. If you remember, last time when I ran this command, the output was 0. There was no output of this command. This time it says my infra and it tells me the version of the cookbook as well. The same thing I can verify on my GUI. If I go to the policy tab now, I can see my infra cookbook and I can see the content of my cookbook as well. If I go to recipes and default, I can see that package tree, which I have written just a while back. I can see those content on this GUI. So now I need to edit the run list of my nodes. I have written the recipe. I have uploaded the cookbook. Now I need to make the changes to the run list for both these nodes, and I just need to drag and drop this particular recipe for both the nodes. Once that is done, I just need to click on save, and once that is done, I can come back to my chef nodes and run chef-client command one by one. So typically I will run sudo chef client on both the nodes, and let's wait for a couple of seconds. This time chef is already aware what exactly needs to be done. As you can see, it goes ahead and syncs the cookbook. It downloads my infra cookbook and then installs the required package. And as you can see in the output for both the nodes, it says in green that install version 1.7.03 of the package tree. And it tells that chef client finished and one resources updated in 30 seconds. Now I can cross verify that by giving the tree command. As you can see, it doesn't give me any error message. Rather, it gives me a dot, which means that the command is working absolutely fine. I can see it for a different folder, let's say .chef. So as you can see, it gives me the tree structure. Same thing, I can cross verify on the next node as well. Once again, it doesn't give me any error message. If I go one folder above and then issue the same command again, it gives me the tree structure. I can cross verify in another way by the help of yum info tree command, and this time it will tell me that this is one of the installed packages. If you remember last time, it was telling available packages. So that's how you work with recipes and resources and cookbooks, and how you manage your infrastructure with the help of Chef configuration management tool.